Why did the runner bring a ladder to the race? Because he heard it was a steep run. Welcome everyone to the world of running, where lighthearted humor and serious fitness go hand in hand. Today we're putting those foot strikes under the microscope. You know, the way your foot hits the ground when you're out for a jog. It's more important than you might think. So, you fancy yourself a runner, do you? Well, let's see if you're stepping up to the mark, or if you're just tripping over your own feet. First things first, let's talk about the heel strike. Sure, it sounds like a superhero move, but trust me, it's not. You see, a heel strike happens when your heel is the first part of your foot to touch the ground as you run. It's pretty common, especially among beginners. But here's the thing, while it might feel natural, it's not always the best technique for speed or long-distance running. Imagine yourself as a superhero. Would you land on your heels while saving the day? Probably not. It's like trying to fly with an umbrella. It's just not quite as super as it sounds. So remember, heel striking is not your secret power move, unless you're aiming for the fastest to get shin splints title. Moving on to the midfoot strike, the underdog of running techniques. It's like the middle child, often overlooked, but actually pretty awesome. Picture this, a foot landing flat, the impact distributed evenly. That's your midfoot strike, folks. It's the Goldilocks of running, not too hard, not too soft, just right. Why is it the middle child, you ask? Well, it's not as flashy as the heel strike, nor as daring as the forefoot strike. It's just there, doing its thing, reliably and efficiently. But just like the middle child, it has its own strengths. It reduces the strain on your joints, making it a sustainable choice for those long-distance runs. Think of it as your trusty sidekick, always there when you need it, ready to save the day. So go ahead and give the middle child some love. Your knees and ankles will thank you. Last but not least, let's talk about the forefoot strike. This one's like the cool kid on the block. Everyone wants to be them, but not everyone can pull it off. The forefoot strike, much like that cool kid, is all about landing on the balls of your feet. It's like tiptoeing into a surprise party, stealthy, light, and quick. It's got its perks, like decreased impact forces and increased speed. But remember, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It can also lead to calf strain and requires strong ankles. So, if you're not the gym class hero, you might want to think twice. Remember, just because it's cool doesn't mean it's for you. Find your own stride. So, there you have it, a quick run-through on running foot strikes. Pun intended. We've jogged through 3 key techniques today. First, we tackled the heel strike, which despite its bad rap, can be a solid choice for some. Then we sprinted into the world of midfoot strikes, a balanced and efficient technique that could work wonders for your running game. Lastly, we zoomed into the forefoot strike, a method favored by sprinters for its speed and lightness. But here's the kicker. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to foot strikes. It's all about finding what feels natural to you, what enhances your performance, and what keeps those pesky injuries at bay. So lace up those running shoes and hit the pavement. Experiment, play around, find your stride. And remember, the best foot strike is the one that doesn't make you strike out. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more great running advice. Until next time, keep those feet moving.